If you feel like no matter what you do, it's never enough, like there's a voice in your head constantly telling you, you're not enough, you're not being enough, you're not doing enough, I want you to know you are not alone and you're in the right place. If you're new here, I'm Corey. I'm a trauma-informed mind-body practitioner, and I work with adult children of alcoholics to help them move out of survival and into safety. And that voice I was talking about, that is your inner critic. And today we're going to talk about why adult children of alcoholics actually struggle with this so much, where it comes from, and what you can start doing today to quieten it, so you can actually finally start to feel some peace in your life. Before we get into it, if you're someone who is struggling to make true lasting change in your life, I wanted to give you the opportunity to take one of the last 4 spots on my signature program. This is going to be the last chance to work directly with me in 2025 before I take some time off to go on maternity leave. So if you're looking for some more of a hands-on approach to support on your journey, I'll leave some information in the comments below. So let's start really simple. What actually is your inner critic? The inner critic is, simply put, the voice inside your head that is shaming you, doubting you, criticizing you, and making you feel just all around that you are just not good enough. It might sound like you should be doing more. Why are you always like this? Everyone else is ahead of you in life. Don't be so dramatic. And if you grew up in a household where you had to walk on eggshells, where love was inconsistent, or where emotional safety didn't exist or existed very rarely, then this inner critic did become a way of you surviving that environment. So where does this inner critic actually come from? If you grew up with an alcoholic parent, you most likely learn to be hyper aware of the environment around you, constantly scanning for threats or for when the next explosion, argument, or scary situation was to arise. And in this environment, we can really feel like we either have to be like perfect to prevent any more drama or emotional hostility in the environment, or that we need to be invisible, that we need to shrink into the background so that we don't cause any more trouble. And in this environment, like not having needs and staying quiet probably felt a lot safer than speaking up about how you felt or expressing the emotions that were arising from you as a result of what was going on at home. And over time, the outside voice, the one that you heard growing up, starts to be the voice that you start internalizing. And your inner critic is often the voice of sometimes our parent, the carer, or the one in our mind that we created to keep ourselves safe. And we may have had thoughts of, well, the more you do, the more praise you're going to get, the happier you might make your parent. You always have to help other people before you help yourself. Never be a burden. Don't burden the family with your problems or with how maybe scared that you are in the situation of growing up with having an alcoholic parent. And expressing your needs is not okay. And the voice in your head, the outside voice that became internalized over the years, it is doing one job, and that is trying to protect you. But when we become adults, we don't tend to need protection from the environment of growing up with an alcoholic parent, because most of the time, most of us will have left that environment. Or if you're still living in it, it's not that you're a child in that environment, it's more that you now have more of a free choice or opportunity to maybe step out of that environment if it's getting too much. So the voice in our head, the one that's trying to protect us, it then becomes an outdated protection mechanism. And even though it's trying to do the right thing, as in it's the voice inside your head is trying to protect you, it's actually holding you back from living a happy, fulfilled, and content life. And it starts to show up in your current, present life. And it can show up in a way of overthinking every decision you need to make, shutting down compliments or praise, struggling to celebrate any sort of wins or successes that you might have, feeling like rest is bad, or feeling guilty for wanting or needing to take a break. Or, and this is a very common one, sabotaging your own growth because you don't feel worthy of it or you're even scared of it. And here's the thing, it's not because your mind is broken. Okay, it's not because you're broken or there's something wrong with you. It's coming and being driven from your nervous system, from that survival response and survival mechanism that had to be active and on for such a long period of time. Because I've said this plenty of times in my other videos, but growing up in that chaotic environment of having an alcoholic parent dysregulates the nervous system. And it dysregulates your nervous system because it's a very high stress environment to be in. And when we are stressed over a long period of time, we get a lot of the stress hormones, so like cortisol and adrenaline running through our body. And we need these stress hormones to keep us safe and to activate our fight and flight response, because if we come up against a threat on the street, like someone tries to harm us or to steal from us, we need to be able to have our body to take that natural survival response and let that kick in naturally to keep us safe, to help us either fight off the threat or run away. But growing up in an environment with an alcoholic parent, that survival response is constantly on because you constantly feel like you are under threat. The threat being your alcoholic parent. Now, you may not have literally been in physical danger, or you may have, but even if you weren't literally in physical danger, there's the perceived threat that you have to that, because witnessing a parent with an addiction is very scary for a child. There's usually a lot of toxicity, there's usually a lot of aggression, there's usually a lot of emotional volatility in the household. You're witnessing scary things like your parent drinking too much, maybe they fall over. Maybe if they're a drug addict, you might witness them overdose. You might witness maybe some not very nice people in your household. Whatever that can look like, whatever you deemed as threatening or scary as a child, that then keeps your fight or flight response on. And this is why I constantly talk about coming out of survival, because 99.9% of all the children of alcoholics out there have been in survival or are in survival. And this is why it's so important to recognize, how is this survival response now holding you back? Because yes, it holds us back by making us like agitated or overwhelmed or anxious or depressive symptoms or easily triggered, those sort of things. But it holds us back in other areas. And one of them being is the inner critic, is the stories maybe our mind is making up to try and keep us safe, but they no longer serve us in adulthood. So it's so important, if you're doing the work on this journey, to fully understand, how is that survival response that did once keep you safe and that did once serve a very, very good purpose, but now as an adult might be holding you back. So I want to give you one practical tool. And for me, doing this work, like for myself and with my clients, I want to keep it as simple and as straightforward and as grounded in common sense as possible. Okay, because I feel like we can really overcomplicate healing and growth and change, and it doesn't have to be difficult. And I know a lot of you watching this video now find change and find healing and find moving forward difficult, and I know that because I have been in that position with you. Okay, but it doesn't have to be. And once you figure out and understand how to simplify it, how to strip it back, how to really apply the bare basics for helping you move forward, it becomes a lot more clearer, a lot more easier for you to digest, and a lot less overwhelming to implement into your life. And that is why I am really like strong on not overcomplicating this journey. Okay, so I want to give you one simple tool you can actually start doing today to quieten the inner critic. And it's, I want you to name and talk to your inner critic. So step one is naming it. And I've talked about this before in a separate video, when I talked about how to calm an over racing mind and really get control over your thoughts. And it's the same with the inner critic, because your inner critic is just made up of thoughts. It doesn't mean it's actually the reality. Okay, not every thought you have is true. But what I want you to do is give it a name. So I have named mine, and she pops up every time I try to slow down and take a break from work. And yours might be similar or might pop up in very, very different circumstances or events. And this is very individual. Okay. So if you don't relate to what I've said, that's fine. I don't expect you to, but you will know when your inner critic is popping up for you. So I want you to give them a name, give her or him a name. And I want you to catch it in the moment. So start to notice, as I said, when is this voice in your mind coming up? Is it when you are trying to take a break? Is it when you're trying to do something new? Is it when you're going to go on a date with someone new? Is it trying to sabotage you? Is it trying to hold you back? Is it telling you you're not good enough? Is it telling you that you should be working harder, or that you shouldn't be expressing your emotions, or that you shouldn't be telling someone how you feel? So again, name, recognize, when is this showing up? So step 3, when you notice your inner critic, say we're going to call him Jimmy. So when you notice Jimmy coming up and he's telling you you are being lazy because you want to take a break because you've worked so much for the past week and you want to take Saturday off. But in your mind, you're like, you're lazy. You're going to be a failure. You're never going to succeed if you take the day off. Ask Jimmy the question, what are you trying to protect me from with these thoughts? And this switch is going to help you switch from a mindset of judgment. So judging yourself, thinking, why am I thinking this? I shouldn't be thinking this. I constantly am thinking these thoughts. Like it's not helpful to be judgmental towards yourself like that. It's a lot more helpful to get curious and try to understand, well, what are these thoughts trying to protect me from? Because for me, to give you an example, my thoughts are trying to protect me from failure, from not feeling like I'm enough. It's a little bit of a catch-22 situation. My thoughts are trying to push me to do more and be more because it's something that I have to constantly work on. But a lot of the time, my self-worth is attached to external success or external validation. So my inner critic is trying to protect me from not meeting that expectation and deeming myself as a failure. But that's not the reality. I am enough without external success or external validation. And I'm learning that as the years go by. It's difficult, but I'm learning that. So that's how I've started to understand, okay, these thoughts are popping up because I want to take a break because they don't want me to feel unworthy. They don't want me to not be successful. But it doesn't mean that they're true. It doesn't mean that they're my reality. And so step 4 is responding to them with compassion. Again, not with judgment. So try saying in your head or out loud, like, thank you for protecting me, but I'm safe now. I don't need to be protected anymore. And it's not that you're trying to get rid of your inner critic. It's not that you're trying to never have those thoughts again, because that's unrealistic. You're going to have those thoughts again, especially when they're so deeply ingrained part of your life, like they are for me, or especially when the survival response is such a deeply ingrained part of your life. So we're not trying to get rid of them. We're not trying to never think them again. We're just trying to learn how to work with them. And by working with them means that they're actually going to no longer control your life. It's like emotions, it's like your inner child. When you give them the attention that they need, they stop being in the driver's seat. But we don't know that. You don't know what you don't know. I know it might feel a little bit strange, okay, like naming your thoughts. Like, Corey, that sounds a little bit weird, a bit nuts, a bit mental. And it might be, but it works. It's worked for me and it's worked for so many of my clients in the past. So I just want you to try it. Be open. This journey is about being open and getting curious and just trying new things, because you don't know what's going to work for you, even if it sounds a little bit weird. So I want you to know, even if your inner critic is running your life right now, it does not have to be like that forever. As I said, you're not broken. Your mind is not broken. You just adapted to survival because of the circumstances you grew up in. But now you do actually get to learn how to live on your own terms. And in my 6-week program, we dive much deeper into this work and into this healing. You learn how to regulate your nervous system, heal the inner critic, and move forward with your life with actual structure. I'll drop the link in the comments below if you want to check it out. Before you go, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What does your inner critic say to you? For fun, what would you name it? If you found this video helpful, if you resonated with this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel so we can continue on this journey of healing from having an alcoholic parent together.